Every night when we fall asleep, it's because our physical body needs rest, it gets tired, it needs rest, and it falls asleep. The conscious mind, which is the chatterbox mind that talks to us all day long, is our own voice that we can hear in our head. That gets tired, that needs sleep. But we also have a subconscious aspect to our mind, which stores a heck of a lot of data, about 40 million bits of data, which is a heck of a lot more than our conscious mind. That aspect of our mind never ever needs sleep. It remains awake for eternity because it never needs to switch off and rest. And the purpose of the subconscious mind is to show us what our belief systems are, what is programmed within our subconscious mind, what is our automatic programs that are running that maybe need to be looked at and we need to sometimes do an inventory on. So the purposes of dreams is to show us what is programmed within the subconscious mind. So what it does, dreams are not a random thing. The reason that we dream is there's a purpose to it. And they are messages. Dreams are messages from the deepest parts of the subconscious mind, and sometimes the more surface parts of the subconscious mind as well. There's lots and lots of information and energy and data in the subconscious mind. When you're awake, the subconscious is clocking absolutely everything. So your conscious mind is only picking up and noticing certain bits, which is nothing compared to what the subconscious mind has clocked. So for example, if you're in a huge garden with lots and lots of beautiful flowers everywhere, you've noticed the pink ones, the orange ones, the white ones, and you know how lovely they look, and you've noticed the bees on them and the insects and the birds and everything, and the nice green grass. Your subconscious has clocked how many flowers are in the garden, how many petals they each have, how many bees were around the flowers. You know, it's clocked everything. And what it does is when we're sleeping, it's arranging all of that information. So sometimes when we're asleep and we're dreaming, we get some very random dreams. Some dreams we barely remember and they're a little bit strange. But then there's the dreams that stay with us, that really grab us by the collar and make us wake up the next morning and go, thank goodness that was a dream. Or you could say to yourself, I wish I was still in that dream because it was amazing. Right. We need to pay attention to these dreams that are staying with us. We need to pay attention to the dreams that are really grabbing us and making us go like this. So when you're in the dream, you're not aware that you're dreaming unless you're a lucid dreamer. So you can become aware in the dream that you're dreaming. And when you can become aware in the dream, this is just a nighttime dream, and you're aware that it's just a dream, you can change it. It's malleable. You realize you're dreaming. You can switch dreams. You can leave the dream. You can manipulate the dream. Okay, this is how powerful you are. But a lot of us, when we're in the dream, we don't realize that we're dreaming, and we really do think it's real when we're in the dream. So what our subconscious is doing is, because it can only communicate with us in symbol, it is showing us everything that we need to know about our programs. And the reason that it's showing us everything we need to know about our programs is because those programs are also playing out automatically in our waking reality as well. So if we can learn to interpret our dreams, we can actually transform our waking life as well. Because the idea is that when you're awake and you're no longer having a nighttime dream, that is also your subconscious playing out into a waking reality. So it's the idea that everything around you in waking life is still your subconscious mind playing out, even though it looks like it's outside of you, it's nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with you. It's a holographic projection. Okay. Now, some are not really open to that, and that might seem a lot to some people to take on. But the purposes of the nighttime dreams is, yes, they do seem quite different to the waking reality dreams, because sometimes when we think back on those dreams, they don't seem to make a huge amount of sense. And we think, oh, that was a very strange dream. So what our subconscious is doing is trying to do us a favour. But because it doesn't speak in language or words, sometimes it does. Sometimes you will see words, numbers, things like that, repeating numbers. words, you'll hear things, people will say certain things to you in dreams and you remember that. But the majority of the time it can only speak to you in symbol. So for example, you may dream of a huge wave coming towards you, but that is a symbol for something else. Maybe it's a symbol for your emotions that you're trying to run away from. Maybe it's a symbol for diving deep, into the depths of yourself. So it's a metaphor, it's a symbol for something. So what I'm talking about today is I'm just going to give an overview of how you can interpret those dreams that really stay with you, or the dreams that maybe repeat a lot. You get a recurring dream, like you do in waking reality. You might have a pattern that keeps coming up in your life all the time. The same way that in your nighttime dreams, you get this regular dream over and over again, or sometimes you may have the dream and then for a long time you don't have it, and then it comes back in, it keeps spiraling back into your dream reality. So if, say, for example, you dream something really scary, something that's really shocking and scary and horrible, and you're glad you've woken up from it. Everything in these dreams are aspects of our own subconscious. It's just energy, but it's coalescing into some sort of form that looks like a form in the dream, even though it's not really there, it looks like it's there, that can give us a symbol or an understanding of what it might represent. So say, for example, you always dream that you're being chased. You're being chased in, it's late at night and, you're in country lanes, you're somehow lost or something, and someone is chasing you. Someone's gaining on you and you're running away from somebody. And every time you glance behind you, they're getting closer and closer and closer, okay? Those dreams are the most important ones for you to look at, because what they're showing you is they're showing you an aspect of yourself that you're running away from, you're not looking at. It's a shadow aspect of yourself that has been buried very deep within the subconscious mind, perhaps without you even realising. Now, you might think to yourselves, well, how does a man or a woman or a monster chasing me represent me? It's showing you an aspect of you that is trying to get your attention. But what we do in dreams is, because we don't realise we're dreaming, we just keep running. We keep running and running and running. And sometimes we can't even run fast enough and they're gaining on us all the time. That, for example, is showing you an aspect of yourself, because it's only ever aspects of yourself, even though they look like different people. They're aspects of you. You might not recognise what this form is showing you. You might think, I've never seen this person, or it might coalesce into a form of a familiar person that perhaps you would run away from. So what that's showing you is this showing you that there's an aspect of your psyche that you've completely turned away from, that you're running from and you do not want to look at. But that aspect of you, that aspect of your consciousness, is something that's been put in shadow for some reason or another and not looked at and disregarded, not taken responsibility for, is always trying to find you because it wants to be integrated. So when you have, say, for example, a dream like that, you need to ask yourself, what am I running from? What aspect of me do I not want to look at? What aspect of me is always seeming to be there, creeping up on me, and I don't want to look at it, and I don't want to, I don't want to have to deal with it? What is that trying to tell me? Now, a lot of the times you think, well, I don't want to go there because it was a scary dream and I don't want to dream that and it's horrible. But the ones that really grab you by the collar and actually make you scared, it's not on purpose. It's just showing you an aspect of you that you're scared of. An aspect of you that maybe was very traumatic that you don't want to look at. But because we wake up in the morning and think, thank goodness that was a dream, I never want to dream that again. And then perhaps you do keep dreaming about it. What you're doing is we're not using that dream to transform a part of us that is stuck, basically, and that really wants to integrate back into us, okay? So what that dream is trying to show you is that maybe instead of running from that, can you face the fear, turn around, look at it and say, why are you chasing me? What do I need to do? What do I need to understand? But because we're dreaming, we don't realise that that's what we have to do. And then if someone says to you, you need to really dive deep into that aspect of your dream and figure out what it's trying to tell you, you don't want to do it. But this is how we transform ourselves, because what we're doing is by dealing with that part of us that the subconscious is showing us that is really chasing us, is really trying to get our attention, but we just keep running from it all the time. That might be the case in waking reality. Perhaps a certain memory comes up for you a lot and you go, oh, don't want to think about that. And what you do is you push it down into the depths of your psyche, and it's never dealt with, it's never looked at. But that is an aspect of you that is fragmented for some reason and needs your attention. It needs you to look at it, and it needs you to say, okay, what are you trying to tell me? So what you can do, and what I do sometimes when I get certain recurring dreams, and some of them, yes, they are quite scary, but they're the ones you need, like I said, they're the ones you need to be paying most attention to. You don't have to, but if you want to become a more full, transformed, radiant whole version of yourself, look at these dreams and really look at what they're trying to show you. And sometimes you might think, I have no idea. So what you can do is when you're awake, if you're feeling brave enough, you can go into a relaxed state. Obviously, you don't go back to sleep, but you can set the intention. Number one, you could set the intention to say, I'm going to come into a relaxed state. I'm actually going to ask my subconscious to take me back into that dream, and I'm going to see what I actually needed to do. Instead of running from it, should I have done something else? Because remember, it's not real in terms of you're not actually going to get hurt. But what you're doing is you're turning and you're facing that dream and you're saying, what is it that I need to look at here? What am I running from? So you can go into a relaxed state, almost a meditative state, say to the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is highly intelligent, it knows what it needs to do. If you give it that command, take me back to that dream, show me what that was showing me. Show me what I needed to do with that aspect of myself that looked like a different person or something horrible in that dream. Show me where I needed to look at that and what I needed to do with it. Okay, so I had a dream that isn't recurring, but it was a dream that I had recently where there was this spirit following me, and she was a girl, but she was angry and she was following me all the time. Now, that doesn't mean there's a literal angry girl following me in real life. It could mean that, but usually it's just a metaphor, a symbol for something else. But the fact she was a ghost, I felt like it was a ghost of an old trauma. It was a ghost of an old version of me, It was angry because I wasn't looking at it and I kept hiding my face from it in my dream. And then the more I was hiding my face from it, the more it was getting in my face. And all I needed to do was look at it in the eyes and realise that it's an aspect of me, and realise that as soon as I look at it and ask it what it's trying to show me, because you can ask it, if you go into this meditative state and go back into that dream, don't fall asleep, but you ask the subconscious to direct you. What do I need to do? I could look at that girl that was so desperately trying to get me to look at her. And as soon as you look at these things in dreams, they immediately start transforming. So as soon as I looked at her, she turned into a young girl, and she was a lot happier because she was like, oh, you finally looked at me. And a lot of the times they're your inner child. Maybe there was an inner child wound or a trauma when you were little, and it's showing up as this type of energy in a dream. So maybe all it's asking for you to do is say, look at me. You're not looking at me. Is there a part of you when you were a child that perhaps you got bullied, or perhaps you were ashamed of things, or perhaps you didn't like who you were or how you looked, or perhaps your parents or peers shamed you or something. But that aspect of you is still traumatized and is showing up in dreams, for example, to show you where you're still not looking at that aspect of yourself and where you're still not accepting that aspect of yourself. So the reason it's important to look at that aspect of yourself is because when it's not integrated and when it's not being looked at because it's buried so deep, it's still traumatized. And if you've got all these fragmented, traumatized parts of yourself, then you're not feeling whole and complete in waking reality because you're turning away from it. Okay? So this is what dreams are showing us. This is what the subconscious mind is trying to show us. It's trying to show us where we need to do the transformative work. Okay, so I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.